This is wrestling at the sword. In this occurrence, the baddie intend to use a thrust to close the distance and get to wrestling. This video will only cover the 4 techniques that involves a throw. If the baddie does not commit enough into getting closer, we can counter thrust them. Like in this case, a counter thrust in opposition. This is the same as the first running through. Our arm is in front his body and our leg behind his. As in the second running through, our leg is in front and our arm behind. This is an armbar, the same principle as Ikkyo/Ikajo. Another possible interpretation using the principle of Juji Garomi. The last wrestling uses a Kimura start and Shiho Nagi finish. Starting with the second wrestling at the sword, we will break the distance and he uses a countercut to get control of our blade in order to pass our point and get closer. Keeping the sword in our right hand, we control his point. In the same motion, we hook his hilt and overextend his arm. As he continue forward, we pass our arm in front of him and throw him over our leg. If you want to practice the throw, a backward yukami is enough. Remember to lift the right leg. Same start as before, but this time he comes with his left leg in front. We start as before, by controlling his thrust with our quillons with the sword in our right hand. We grab him around his back and we insert our hips to throw him over. Hooking his hilt and the arm bar are not in the manual, but they do help, especially if the attack was lacking enthusiasm. To practice the throw, a simple forward yukami is enough. Same start as before, but we are doing an armbar by locking the wrist and rotating the elbow.
Go.
How the elbow is rotated depends on the height of the baddie's arms. As before, by controlling his thrust with our quillons with the sword in our right hand and hooking with our hilt around his wrist. We grab him at his right elbow, whilst it's still high, and rotate the elbow. At the same time we rotate his hands with our hilt to take off the slack of the armbar. In some cases, the opening thrust is too low. In that case, we rotate his elbow with our forearm, making sure we catch it from below and that we have a solid hook with our quillons. Another interpretation can be to grab the elbow from below and around, using Juji Garomi. The usual start, but this time are using the hooking of his wrists with our hilt to cross his arms. We lift his arms as we wrap our right arm around his elbows. We then can insert our hips and throw him over. The last technique is an armlock-based throw. Shockingly enough, same start as usual. This time we invert our right hand, thread it through his arms to grab our left wrist, locking his arm. We lift this lock, rotate it and go forward to throw him, with the lock still established, on the side over our right hips. The hips throw is more there to make sure that yukami is difficult rather than a throw per se.